Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to thank your delegation for organizing an open debate on this important topic. May I also thank Karen for her briefing. As an organ of the United Nations tasked with the maintenance of international peace and security, the debate on working methods remains extremely relevant, especially in the backdrop of Ukraine and Gaza. As such, the question as to how much the Security Council has been able to deliver on peace and security, with both feet firmly fixed in the past, is a larger question that the member states need to collectively ponder upon. In that collective reflection, one major aspect, which is one of the 5 clusters of the intergovernmental negotiations, is the working methods. The edifice of the working methods of the Council is erected on the nebulous expanse of rules of procedure that remain provisional, even now. At a micro level, as an 8-term elected member of the United Nations Security Council, we would like to submit the following 5 issues of key concern. Firstly, on the Council's engagement with the wider membership, and as mandated by Article 24 of the UN Charter, one of the meaningful ways of doing this would be through a discussion on the report of the Security Council in the General Assembly. However, despite long-standing demands for analytical reportage, these remain just factual markers indicating the number of times the Council has met or the total debates that have been conducted. Secondly, let us turn to the subsidiary bodies inhabiting a subterranean world. With their own custom-made working methods and obscure practices which do not find any legal basis in the Charter or any of the Council's resolutions. For instance, while we do get to know of the decisions of these committees on listing, the decisions on rejecting listing requests are not made public. This is a disguised veto, but an even more impervious one that indeed merits a discussion amongst the wider membership. For genuine, evidence-based listing proposals for globally sanctioned terrorists to be blocked without giving any due justification is uncalled for and smacks of doublespeak when it comes to the Council's commitment in tackling the challenge of terrorism. Thirdly, the selection of chairs of subsidiary bodies and distribution of pen holderships must be made through a process which is open, which is transparent, which is based on exhaustive consultations, and with a more integrated perspective. The consensus of the E10 on chairs of subsidiary bodies to be assumed by the E10 themselves must be absolutely honored by the P5. Fourthly, as one of the largest troop contributing countries, my delegation would like to reiterate that the concerns of the troop and police contributing countries should be taken into consideration for better implementation of peacekeeping mandates. Fifthly, there is a need to review the agenda of the Council and remove obsolete and irrelevant items from the agenda of the Security Council. Note 507 on procedural matters provides ample guidance on this. In a nutshell, Mr. President, UNGA Decision 62/557, which all member states subscribe to, has identified 5 pillars for comprehensive reform, of which improvement in working methods is one. However, it is also imperative to note that working methods do not stand in isolation, as they have an organic linkage to other clusters, including on the relationship with the General Assembly and discussions on the veto. Therefore, unless we address the issue in its entirety, a piecemeal approach would fail to offer a holistic solution. In addition, Mr. President, as we discuss the working methods, we also witness an equitable representation-sized hole in the Security Council between the P5 and E10. What we therefore need is a Security Council that better reflects contemporary realities, the geographical and developmental diversity of the multipolar world of today, including the voices of the developing countries and unrepresented regions like Africa, Latin America, and the vast majority of Asia and the Pacific. For this, an expansion of the Council in both categories of membership is absolutely essential. Mr. President, we can no longer hide behind the smokescreen of the intergovernmental negotiations by delivering entrenched national positions in a process which has no time frame and no text. We should embark upon the only established process in the United Nations, which is by engaging in negotiations based on text and not through speaking at each other or past each other, as we have done for the past 3 decades. As the threats to international peace and security evolve, Mr. President, so must this Council. We ask those blocking progress on this vital issue to heed calls for genuine reform and contribute to making this Council truly fit for purpose for the 21st century. Thank you.